Higgins is joined by Jill Dando to open the file of tonight's Crimewatch UK.
Welcome to the new series, a new home for the programme, a new Tuesday slot and a new partner in crime.
Hello, I'm delighted to be joining the programme. Let me show you around our new premises. We can now handle more calls than ever, almost 40 simultaneously, with the help of more detectives and more researchers. We also have all the lines to the incident rooms around the country, and you'll have noticed that Crimewatch has moved to Tuesdays. From now on, you can join us on the first or second Tuesday of the month. Now, as always, of course, the key to Crimewatch is you. Without your observations, the programme wouldn't be as successful as it is. We rely on you to spot clues and recognise details that hopefully will lead to the criminals being caught. There's been a lot of response to the June programme, and we'll hear about that later.
The first appeal tonight is, well, just that, an appeal. To be blunt, there are precious few clues. All detectives hope for is that someone in Oxfordshire has their conscience stirred and comes forward with their suspicions. It's frankly one of those crimes that, however rare, far less than one's chance of being struck by lightning and all that stuff, is nonetheless very hard indeed to solve without someone calling in with names and sightings. The victim was Vicky Thompson, who lived in Ascot under Wychwood.
Vicky was I can't describe how she was. She was just a very loving mother. She was a very caring wife. She always found time for me and for the children.
Come on, have a drive.
She put 100% of energy into everything that she did.
Oh, not mummy then.
I think I drank too much last night. Any breakfast left?
You wait a minute, I'm about to get the kids' lunch.
Hey, watch it!
Jonathan, I'm just going to take Daisy for a walk.
Okay. I'll try and give your car a wash. It's filthy.
Bye.
Bye.
Half a mile away, a local man was walking past King Standing Farm near the Charlbury to Burford Road.
As I peeked through the hedge, I could see this man stood there with no clothes on. And as I moved towards the hedge, he moved away. The next time I see the man, he's running across the cornfield. I could see then that he was 6 foot tall, very pale, thin, between 20 and 30 years old.
If you leave it there, I'll trip over it.
At about 4:15 p.m. on the London to Hereford main line, did you see anyone near the track between Charlbury and Kingham that day, Saturday, the 12th of August?
Daisy came back without Mummy.
Ah, she's probably walking slowly. Daisy runs faster than Mummy. King?
When Daisy came home on her own, I didn't immediately see any cause for concern, as I expected that Vicky would soon come round the corner, that maybe she'd sent Daisy up the road and was talking to a friend. But as time wore on, I realised that something wasn't right.
Strap in now.
I needed to go out and look for her. When I got back to the house, I half expected to see her there. I was quite surprised when she wasn't there and realised I needed to go straight back out. So I left a note on the table and took my phone with me.
Haven't seen Vicky, have you?
No, we haven't.
Dog's come home without her. Been up to the lane, there's no sign of her.
Well, look, we'll go down and have another look.
Jonathan, haven't heard from you for...
Vicky's not with you, is she? She's missing. I thought she might drop by your place for tea on her way back or something.
No, she definitely hasn't been around here. Look, I'm popping down the lane in a minute, so I'll have a look if you want. You found this on the lane?
Carolyn's sure it's Vicky's.
I became more and more frantic and was very upset about the fact that I couldn't find her and just needed her to come round the corner and see everything was all right. I tried to keep the horrible thoughts that could have happened to her at the back of my mind for the sake of the children.
Hello, look, I'm sorry to bother you. There's this woman missing. Her name's Vicky. We found her bracelet. We've informed the police and everything, but you haven't seen anyone, have you? She's about 5 foot, slim.
No, we've not seen anyone. Obviously, we'll keep a lookout.
Looks in a bit of a state, that chap, didn't he? What's that?
Oh, God. Look.
Vicky! Vicky!
Peter.
What's that?
Look. No, don't go in there, look. I'll go and get that bloke.
I was terrified that the attacker might still be in the area.
Hello? Excuse me! You can't quit, we found something!
Whereabouts?
There, in the field.
Where? No, run to the nearest house. Call an ambulance.
Yeah, Biogen Echo 4-1, Oxfordshire Way, Ascot under Wychwood. I believe we may have had a sighting of Vicky Thompson. Just going to see if we can confirm.
Vicky had been beaten around the head, but there was no obvious motive for the crime. She died 6 days afterwards. David Blair, this has had a great deal of publicity locally and nationally. How can people help further?
I really want someone who may think they know who's done this, maybe sheltering them even, to come forward and tell us. It's really important. It's one of our main sort of lines of inquiry here.
How would people know? How would they have any suspicions?
Well, it might be from the demeanour of the person, or it might be that they were disposing of some clothing or something like this. There's no doubt that the offender's clothing would have been blood-stained in this case.
His behaviour, would it have been changed anyway?
Probably would have been a bit abnormal, yes. Could well have been, for a little while afterwards, certainly.
Now, we haven't got many clues to go on. There would have been a lot of people in that area. I mean, it's a holiday area. This is the peak of the holiday season.
That's right. Certainly there were campers, caravanners, there would have been hikers, walkers in the village. We've interviewed a lot of people in the village, of course, but anyone else who was there in Ascot under Wychwood on that Saturday afternoon, we would really like to talk to them, whether or not they think they know anything or saw anything.
One of them, or somebody, might have found this, or at least an identical one. This is a Flexi 3 dog lead. Now, if somebody has found this, what do you want to hear?
If somebody's found this, it would have been around the Ascot under Wychwood area, no doubt, on the Saturday or the Sunday. Please come forward and let us know. or indeed the offender himself may still be in possession of it.
OK, but you only want it from the Oxfordshire area. You don't want calls from the rest of the country.
No, indeed not.
About that. There's a reward in this case.
We're offering a £10,000 reward for any information, a generous reward, I feel.
OK, well, let's hope somebody tonight can call in with some help. Here's the number. It's a free call if you can help. You don't have to give your name if you don't want to. Simply call, though, please, if you have any information or any suspicions. If you prefer to call the local police, please do. Here's the number, 01865 266 650. That's 01865 266 650. Now to Superintendent David Hatcher.
With news of some of the arrests from the last Crimewatch before the summer break. One man's picture prompted calls which gave police his place of work. He was suspected of rape, but his employer saw the programme too and sacked him before calling the police, so when detectives got there, he was gone. A man was eventually arrested in Derby after a 27-hour siege where 2 adults and a baby were held hostage. A man's been charged with rape, aggravated burglary and abduction. 3 other arrests resulted from June's programme too. Charges include indecent assault, conspiracy and deception. This month I have an appeal about the rape of a schoolgirl in Gloucestershire. This is a video from a wine store in Cirencester where a man bought unusual cans of lager. Similar cans were left at the scene of the rape and detectives want to trace a man called Ahmed Khaled. He's Bangladeshi and worked at a local restaurant but disappeared next day. He's medium height, slim, aged 24 and he may have a small scar on one of his cheeks. He speaks German and possibly Dutch, but very little English. Incidentally, this is what he sounds like.
My name is Ahmed. I lived in London. 3 years ago, I came in London. My family lived in Bangladesh. I live in small town. Maybe next year I will go. Sometime I'll call of my house. Next week I'll call and I talk of my mother. I work in cook, you know cook. I'll make of curry. Little bit I enjoyed it.
Ahmed Khaled, or perhaps you know him by another name, may well be in London. Do please call. The local police are on 01242 276 513. That's 01242 276 513.
And now to one of the biggest thefts of cash in transit since the Great Train Robbery of 1963, and certainly the biggest reward Crimewatch has ever dealt with, a hefty £250,000. It's 7:15 on the morning of Monday, July the 3rd. This lorry driver was parked waiting for his warehouse to open, little realising the significance of this car and what he was about to witness.
It was 10 to 8 in the morning. I was on my way to work. I turned into Upper Wharf Street from Oldfield Road, and the first thing that I saw was a vehicle parked. There was a man stood in the front of the van. It was just something about his behaviour that made me think this was a bit suspect, like he was trying to hide his face. And I thought this whole thing was very odd because I've driven down that road many times. It's a very quiet road and I've never seen any vehicle parked there before.
Mr. Burgess, Securicor's arrived with a cheque.
They won't open the doors till I've signed in. There won't be a tick. Morning, Trish.
Good morning. How are you today?
Good, thanks.
Inside, the bank's security arrangements were very tight. The guard was now held in a locked area and couldn't get out until the door was released by the clerk.
Normally it takes me about 90 seconds to do what I've got to do. That particular morning took just over 2.5 minutes.
Sorry about this.
No problem, huh?
I can't let you out of the airlock till you're signed in. I'll get another one. There's men outside with masks! Help! Help! Somebody help!
All this time I'm just stood where I am. I can't go forward and I can't go backwards. And I just couldn't do nothing at all. Presumably all they wanted was a hostage.
What's happening?
Phil, it's Trish. Get the police. Quick. There's a raid on. Quick, get the police.
Trish, listen to me. What's happening?
Just stay there. Your van's gone.
As the security van and Ford Transit left the bank, they were caught on this security camera. Less than half a mile away, as they turned off Liverpool Street and into Blucher Street, they almost collided with a blue car coming the other way. Police urgently need to trace its driver.
Quickly! Get the engine running! Come on, keep loading these bags! Make sure he can't see!
You say they left in the van, 2 of them?
Obviously I'm thinking about how my mate is, you know, what have they done to him, or
yes, that's right.
What are they doing to him.
They left here about 2 minutes ago.
Quickly, quickly, keep loading them in the bag! Get ready, tank, right?
I'm really worried about my mate. Have you heard anything?
Don't worry, we're doing all we can. Don't worry.
Get the engine running! Come on, keep loading these bags! One more! And in! Go, go!
Roger! Roger!
Half a mile away, the robber's truck was seen for the last time driving out of the area on Oldfield Road.
Hiya, you okay? You okay? You all right? Just calm down, take it easy. Listen, lift your head back. Let me just take it easy. Let me just try and get these off your eyes. Take it easy.
Well, in that film, we changed some of the details for obvious security reasons, and we must point out that the Midland Bank Clearinghouse in Salford doesn't handle cash. It was the security van that was the target of this particular case. Detective Chief Inspector Andy Tattersall, you're obviously trying to trace a number of vehicles. They're crucial to your inquiry, aren't they?
That's correct. I'd like to start off with a white Ford Transit shown on the reconstruction. That van was stolen from London on the 27th of June, 6 days before the robbery. During that time, a false registration number was placed on the vehicle of J923HVH. Now that is a legitimate Ford Transit from Salford. I don't want information about that. What we do want is to find out what happened to that van during that 6-day period and who made that number plate.
The other vehicles, we saw the red Astra on the film. That's again very crucial. I think 4 others you want to trace as well.
That's right. There's a white Ford cargo box van, which could have been the second getaway vehicle, and also a red Ford cargo box van. Both these vehicles had roller shutter doors to the side and rear. There's also a maroon Vauxhall Astra, a new shape, and a Range Rover, which is hand-painted in matte black, rather badly over the badges. Now, these vehicles were seen in the area at the time of the robbery, and they need to be eliminated.
And ladders were found behind the bank?
That's right. Propped up against the wall at the rear of the bank were two ladders. The first is an aluminium ladder, and it's got distinct markings of SCS 040, and it's overpainted in black. The second ladder is a wooden ladder, rather old, and it's got hand-painted in blue the numbers 358. Now, it's obvious that someone will know the origin of these ladders, who had access to them and where they came from. We need to know that information.
Now, it is an almighty reward, £250,000, but then a lot of money was involved, wasn't
Well, that's right. We believe cash in excess of £5 million, with a further £1 million in cheques stolen. There's a reward of £50,000 just for the recovery of the cheques. Now, money like that is not easily hidden or disposed of, and we believe that it could in fact be stashed away somewhere now. So we want to know, where's that money now?
How many bags do you think?
We think it's equivalent to 29 large bin bags full of money.
Very difficult to hide.
Yes, and someone will know where it is.
Well, Andy, thank you very much. Some vital clues there, and certainly an incentive to call. Do call if you have good grounds for suspicion, or if there's anything that you can add. It's a free call number, and there's, of course, a big reward, as we said, £250,000. The local police are on 0161 856 5043. That's 0161 856 5043. Now, Detective Constable Jackie Hames.
And this is a strange case, it seems without a motive. A solicitor in Warwick has been subjected for 2 years to a hate campaign. At first, he received crude and threatening hate mail. Then a year ago, someone started attacking his home. Graffiti, including swastikas, have been sprayed onto his car and the doors of his house. Plants have been uprooted, holes gouged in his property, and there's been all sorts of other damage too. Police have put up a surveillance camera, and this is what they recorded. The man's not known to any members of the family. Perhaps you know who he is. If you do, please call us right away. There is real concern for the family's safety. The local police on 01926 415 718. That's 01926 415 718. Who is he and where is he? And there's great concern too about this man. He took part in an astonishing attack on a schoolgirl travelling on a train through South London. Detective Inspector Ron Wayner is the officer leading the investigation. What actually happened?
This was quite a frightening experience, and was on Wednesday the 16th of August when the 14-year-old schoolchild victim, a young girl, was travelling on the 9:38 p.m. train from East Grinstead to London Victoria Station. We know that she was on the train in company with some 6 of her friends, and her friends got off at Sanderson railway station. When the train continued on its journey, the suspect entered her compartment and asked her to drink some alcohol. She refused this, whereupon the suspect got up out of his seat, grabbed her by her arms, opened the door of the train and violently and deliberately threw her out of the doors of the train. She landed on the tracks and suffered quite serious injuries. We're investigating this matter very seriously indeed, and I'm dealing with the incident as an attempted murder of that child's life. Clearly, she was very lucky to escape with those injuries. We're very keen, Jackie, to speak to anyone who was travelling on that train.
So it was on the 9:30 from East Grinstead to Victoria on the evening of Wednesday the 16th of August. This is Clapham Junction. If you were among these passengers, please contact us. In particular, detectives want to identify this man who may have crucial information. He was carrying a mobile phone and he met someone off the train. Do you know who he is or who he was waiting for? And this is Victoria Station 10 minutes later. Again, if you were a passenger and you haven't already spoken to the police, please do come forward. As for the suspect, he's tall, over 6 foot, in his late 20s, with a goatee beard, a spotty complexion and an earring. And as for the victim, well, she was terribly injured and was lucky to survive. The local police are on 0171 957 1123. That's 0171 957 1123.
Well, we've got a lot of response so far. The Vicky Thompson murder, we've had more than a dozen calls suggesting that they'd all seen a naked man in the area on that day. A police officer in London is dealing with a similar incident. We hear that there's been an attack on a woman by a suspected naked man, and that police officer will be liaising with the incident room dealing with the Vicky Thompson death. One person has actually put a suspect's name forward. We'll be dealing with that as well. There's also a sighting of a suspicious man in the area 7 days after the attack. Ahmed Khalid, there's a call from the north of the country, a man who believes he may have had contact with him, and lots of calls coming in on the Salford case. A lot of calls suggesting that they know where the ladders were, or certainly know something about the ladders. So do call, of course, 0500 600 600. It's a free phone number. Don't hesitate to call if you've got any information at all. Well, moving on now, an urgent appeal to trace a suspected child molester. Raymond Hodgson is wanted in connection with a serious paedophile attack. In the last 5 years, Raymond Hodgson has lived in Merthyr Tydfil, Dorset, East Anglia, the Midlands and Hampshire, and he may have been somewhere in Scotland. This is a home movie taken a year ago, but Raymond Hodgson also took part in a promotional video where you can hear his voice.
Good evening, Cormac. Now, the magazine itself, it works out roughly 25p a week. You bring it around every 4 or 5 weeks. And the agent actually delivers that to the door for us. And what you actually do is you pay her the 125 or him the 125 when they actually deliver the magazine to you. That's all we actually do. Would you like to try it for a little while, so you get on with it?
Raymond Hodgson's car has been found in Cambridge, but he could be anywhere. Do call 0500 600 600 or the CID direct on 01705 528 999. That's 01705 528 999. Officers are very anxious to find him.
David Hatcher gave some details earlier about arrests that resulted from our last programme back in June. I can add a bit more on progress on 3 other cases. First, a robbery in Stanford-le-Hope. You may remember the reconstruction. 75 viewers called, several with the same name. Detectives are still working on the case. Then the murder of Simon Shannon. One caller in particular gave information that might prove crucial, but it's still subject to some complex inquiries, and the outcome won't be known for several weeks. Another important sighting of Natalie McLean has emerged. In the week before Easter, she was at the Saturdays Club in Manchester in the early hours of Wednesday, the 12th of April. But detectives still need to know, how did she get back to her flat in Wythenshawe?
Now to this man. Medium height, slim, muscular, late 20s, and seen back in early July walking late at night down the A346 between Swindon and Marlborough in Wiltshire. It's possible he drives an old-style brown Ford Fiesta or Escort, but that's by no means certain. What we do know is he was wearing a dark-coloured polo shirt with thin orange stripes. And sometime after midnight, he walked behind a schoolteacher in the road and knocked her unconscious. Were you driving down that road, the A346 near Marlborough, on Saturday night or early Sunday morning, the 8th and 9th of July? Or have you any suspicions about someone who looks like this? The man's obviously a terrible menace. The local police are on 01380 720000. That's 01380 720000.
Now, cast your mind back to the start of the summer holidays, at any rate the week the schools broke up. On Sunday, the 23rd of July, Francis Martin had been drinking with friends at the Frog and Nightgown pub in London's Old Kent Road. He left at around 8:40 p.m, and shortly afterwards, this red Ford Orion was caught on a security camera nearby. Police believe the passenger had just run across the road and shot Francis in the back. Several people saw it, and some tried to chase the red Orion, but they couldn't catch it. Well, although Francis regained consciousness 2 weeks later, he died of his injuries. Sue, who was with him that night, witnessed the incident. Sue, distressing memories for you. What did you see?
We left the pub about 20 to 9. There was myself, Francis, and a group of friends. We walked up the Old Kent Road towards my car in East Street. As we sort of rounded the corner, a man ran between myself and Francis, and all I can remember is like a noise, like a firecracker, went off. As he rounded the front of Francis, I noticed he'd got a gun and realised, obviously, that he'd been shot. With that, I looked up and he just ran off from the direction that he'd come.
Was there any motive that you could think of?
None at all. I've got no reason, any reason why Francis would get shot.
What sort of person was Francis? He was a doorman, I think, in a nightclub in London.
He worked in Legends in the West End, and he was well liked and loved by everybody, and everyone's really shocked that he could possibly be shot.
Well, thank you for coming in with that information. The witnesses have been able to compile a description of the gunman. He's black, he's 23 to 27 years old, about 5 feet 9 inches tall, medium build, possibly with stubble or a short beard. Well, here's the number. Do call if you can help. You can remain anonymous, of course, if you want to, or if you prefer, you can call the incident room direct on 0171 232 6252. That's 0171 232 6252.
Now we have a man who may look familiar. John Baldock first made an appearance on Crimewatch back in February last year. As a result of viewers' phone calls, he was traced to an address in Southampton, but detectives just missed him. In fact, he'd left a message for them sprayed in shaving foam. He's believed to have committed over 200 offences of deception all over the London and South East. In fact, the last one was just yesterday in Dulwich. John Baldock is a keen fencer and is well known on the gay circuit, particularly frequenting clubs in Brighton. If you have any idea where he is now, please ring us tonight. The local police are on 0181 284 5773. That's 0181 284 5773.
Now, a mystery worthy of Agatha Christie, except in this case, it's horribly real. Why should a man, by all accounts a nice guy who still lives at home with his mum, change his regular routine, indeed change his lifestyle for 3 days? And why, at the end of that long weekend, should somebody kill him? Just outside Edinburgh, South Queensferry sits between the two famous bridges that span the Firth of Forth. Robert Higgins was known to everyone. He lived nearby in the village of Dalmeny.
Was work all right then, son?
Aye, fine. That's me till next week.
Are you going to go across to Fife to see your brother then?
No, I can't. I've not got any money.
Oh, that's me. I'll have to go. Do you want anything for the shops?
No, I'm all right.
OK then. Cheerio.
See you later.
There's 5 children in the family, and Robert was the 3rd one. He started playing football when he was 12, and he carried on till he was 16, 17. And it could have really went somewhere, I think, in the end, because he had good motivation with the ball. Robert was a very quiet person. He would never harm anybody. Robert worked at a poultry farm at Newbridge, and it was very physical work. It was quite a demanding job, and shifts and things like that as well. And that's what he did, Monday till Thursday. He was very quiet through the week. He never went out, but at the weekend he did go out and have a drink, and sometimes too much.
Vodka and coke for me.
Okay, 80. Okay. Pint of lager.
Pint of lager.
Yeah.
Put some music on. Cheers. Oh, we're going to have ticket listing tonight.
Why, where do you want to go? Catlands?
Aye. Haven't been for a while.
What time's the next bus?
We'll get a bus. We'll get a taxi.
Oh, come on, Hickey. It's just 2 minutes up the road. We'll get a bus.
You'll get me on the bus. Look, I've got the money. We'll get a taxi.
You're daft.
Aye, fair enough. Hey, Bob. Good night, Bob.
Higgy had come in with some friends about 8:30, and my friends left about 11:30, so he just sat himself and finished off his drink.
Okay. I'll just finish this wee bit off, aye.
He left about 12 o'clock, went down the stairs as usual.
Right, get Bill. Right. Just put the jacket on. Cheers.
When in Kirkliston, Robert would often doss down with a friend or get a taxi home. Tonight, the friend was busy, and at first Robert couldn't get a taxi. He was still in Main Street, Kirkliston, at 2 a.m.
He didn't go home on the Thursday night. He obviously had somewhere that he was going to, and I found it quite unusual that he didn't phone my mum, which he would normally do. He would always phone my mum to say he was stopping out.
But by 11:30 on Friday morning, alone at a local hotel, Robert was seen again. Why was he here? And where did he spend Friday lunchtime until the early evening?
It was about 8:15, and I was on my way to the shop, and I saw Higgy standing outside the retreat. He was speaking to a man in his late 30s to early 40s. about 5'8" to 5'10", and had dark brown hair.
We found that really unusual with Robert not going into the Queen's, so he must have been waiting on someone outside, and it was a Friday night, so he hasn't still phoned home, and he still hasn't contacted the family in any way.
Then, for the second morning running, Robert turned up alone at the Forth Bridges. Who was he staying with nearby? And again, where did he spend the rest of the day? This is just outside the Forth Bridges Hotel.
I was going to the bingo at the ex-servicemen's club in South Queensferry, and I got off the bus at the Southside toll, and I looked right and saw Robert walking down from the flyover, and I just had a quick glance and walked on. I don't know where he went, but it's a possibility that he was going down into South Queensferry itself.
That was another strange thing Robert did. He's been seen, but not in any of his locals. I mean, so where has he been? I mean, he must have been with somebody that he's known. And he hasn't even bothered contacting the family on the Saturday again.
It was Sunday. I'd been to Queensferry Parish Church, and I left there about 11:20. I went into Morrison Gardens, and I saw Robert coming along the road. I knew Robert from school, but the people he was with I didn't know. I thought that they were looking quite worse for wear.
Were you among this group? Or do you know who they were?
Robert wouldn't sleep rough. He wasn't the type of person who would just go to a park bench, sit down, go to sleep. He was scared of the dark. I can't imagine him sleeping out in the dark. You know, he certainly, we feel Robert stayed somewhere over that weekend. We feel someone maybe seen Robert coming and going that weekend.
Next day, Monday the 1st of May, Robert Higgins' body was discovered at a quarry 3 miles from his home. He'd been stabbed. Superintendent Dougie Watson, you're convinced this is a local crime, local people have the solution to it?
Yes, this has been a local inquiry, and the answer almost certainly lies locally. But tonight's reconstruction gives the community in South Queensferry and Kirkliston the first opportunity to really see the sequence of events that leads up to the Robert Higgins' death that weekend. And we hope this will jog some memories. But more importantly, I feel that Higgy was such a well-known character in that community that I feel the information that's been coming into us has been very, very slow, simply because the public there feel that we know that information already, and that's just not the case. What we need from that community is every single piece of information they have about Robert Higgins and his movements that weekend, especially where he spent the missing nights that weekend. Somebody out there in that community knows exactly where Robert Higgins stayed on his missing nights, and my appeal is simple: let us have that information.
0500 600 600, 0500 600 600 is our free call here. Now that couple in Morrison Gardens, you've got quite good descriptions of them now since we did that reconstruction, particularly the woman.
Yes, the female, she's slightly different from the person portrayed in the reconstruction. She's slim to medium build and around 5'5", which is white, 45 to 55, black curly perm, collar length hair, wearing a blouson style jacket and light coloured trousers. The jacket itself is light coloured as well. The male, he's 30 to 45, sorry, 5'8", 5'9", short brown hair, clean shaven, casually dressed with a casual shirt, but also wearing a suit style jacket.
Now back on the Friday night, that's what, the 28th of April, just after he was seen outside the Queen's Retreat, that was about 7:45, he was seen with another man, we saw that in the reconstruction, yeah. He was seen again with a couple.
Yeah, around 9 o'clock that night, Robert was seen in Rosebery Avenue with a couple. One female's described, and she's described as being white, in her 40s, heavy build, fair hair, cut short at the back, but longer on the top, wearing a black dress-style jacket and clutching a shoulder strap for a black shiny shoulder bag. And again, we feel that she's got to be a local person.
Robert's family obviously distraught about this. They managed to get together a reward. Tell us about that.
Yes, by various activities in the local community, Robert's family and relatives and friends have gotten together and raised £2,000. That's a reward that's up for anyone who gives us information which leads to the arrest of and subsequent conviction of the person or persons responsible for Robert Higgins' murder.
Well, if you want to call Mr. Watson, call here. If you want to call the local police direct, the incident room is at Livingston. It's on 01506 445 655. That's 01506 445 655.
Now, before we go, let me show you some pots. Not just any old pots, you understand, but works of art, which the auctioneers Bonhams describe as national treasures. Now, these are pieces by the world-famous craftsman Bernard Leach.
A pot is a living thing. Its associations are markedly human. We talk of the foot, the belly, the shoulder, the neck and the lip, and we intuitively feel a good pot's honesty, strength, nobility, warmth, much as we do with people.
He died some years ago, and since then, the value of his work has multiplied.
It was a good collection. They were birthday and Christmas presents to me, and very often I had a choice. I mean, I had selected a good many of them, and I have a good eye for pots.
On Sunday, the 6th of August, the most comprehensive collection was stolen. Well, here are some of them pictured in catalogues and books. His museum in St Ives is next door to his widow's home.
It's a wooden building, but it never dawned on us that I have non-breakable glass and good locks and all that sort of thing, but we never had dawned on us that somebody would cut a hole on a wall.
Well, indeed, the majority of his pots were stolen that night. Those left are in museums around the country, including the Victoria and Albert in London and the Tate in Cornwall. They are obviously very collectible, so if you've been offered any recently, please call the local police on 01209 611 222. That's 01209 611 222.
Well, I'm still trying to catch up on the calls, and tremendous response tonight. Indeed, on the Vicky Thompson case, frankly, the officers in charge have said the response has been really excellent. A whole number of names have been put forward. A remarkable number of people calling with incidents about this so-called, well, this naked man who was seen there. Incidentally, perhaps we ought to make an appeal. It is just possible that this man was entirely innocent. There's nothing wrong with being a naturist running around a field. And if it was you and you're prepared to call in, for heaven's sake, do so. 0500 600 600. Get eliminated from this inquiry. On the Salford robbery, again, a phenomenal response. We've got calls on the cars, on the ladders. We've got names, no doubt stimulated by that extraordinary £250 million reward on Raymond Hodgson, possible sightings in the north of England. Really a quite remarkable response. Incidentally, here is a reminder of 4 of the faces that we've shown tonight. Top left, and we've got a lot of calls on him, Ahmed Khaled. Next to him is Raymond Hodgson. Bottom left, John Baldock. Finally, this man on the right, who is he?
Well, we hope we'll have a lot more news on Crimewatch Update at 11:45 tonight. As always, our lines here in the studio are open until midnight. Do call on any of our cases, 0500 600 600. On the other hand, if you have any information on any other matters, on any crime we haven't featured tonight, then you can call Crime Stoppers. That's 0800 555 111. That's for any other crimes, 24 hours a day, 0800 555 111.
As Joel says, we and the detectives will be back live in, 90 minutes with the update. If you don't plan to stay up till 11:45, well, do have a carefree month. Join us on the first Tuesday in October. Don't have nightmares, do sleep well. Good night.